Hello friends, Brian Gilley, Klamath Falls News. Welcome to today's live broadcast of Ask Klamath. I am, like I said, Brian Gilley. I'm publisher of Klamath Falls News, and for those of you new to our show, welcome. We are a talk show, per se, where you get to ask your questions to our guest. We actually asked some questions for our guest, Roarke Ponce, over here. Roarke, thank you very much for being with us. We asked for those questions on Monday. We got quite a few of those, and thank you guys for getting those in. Roarke is the owner and operator of Excel Auto Body, who happens to also be the presenting sponsor of Ask Klamath, so I do want to say thank you for that. Thank you very much. He has lived in the Klamath Basin since 1985. He graduated from KU just down the street in 96. You attended Oregon Tech, and you began the auto body industry work when Harvest Auto Body had their shop. His father-in-law later bought that and made Excel Auto Body, and Roarke later bought that from his father-in-law. Roarke has a ton of certificates to his name. Some include an ASE Master Tech, an iCar Platinum Individual Estimator Pro Level 3. That sounds very technical. Assured Performance Certified for Nissan, Fiat Chrysler of America, Kia, Hyundai, and Ford. And he's completed 240 hours of collision repair related training. Lots of stuff going on here. I'm just making sure I'm reading that right. And we do have a fly going around in here too. So Roarke, welcome to the show. Thank you very much. I know this is just the tip of the iceberg of the stuff that you were involved in. What did I miss?
Not too much, but what we really focus on at the shop was born of my father-in-law's passion for auto body. Started when he was 13 years old. He worked here in the Klamath Basin from the early 70s. And when I took it over in 2011, I really wanted to create something that not only he would be proud of, but that we would be able to give a good service to the community. So as mentioned, we've really pursued OEM certifications, allowing us to hold ourselves to a higher standard. Every repair that we do is something that allows us to really make sure that the car is repaired 100% correctly the first time that it goes through the shop. So as mentioned, we've really pursued So that's really the history of the shop. Personally, I've been in the basin since '85, like you mentioned. This is home to me. As all of us, when we turned 18, we had a chance to leave town, and I tried a few different places just visiting, and decided that this is where I was going to stay. So now I own a business and part of the community, and want to remain that.
Well, that's awesome. And actually, I kind of had the same thing. I did the same thing out of high school. I took some time off, then ended up going to college and had the opportunity to leave and stayed, and I'm glad I did as well. Guys, we're going to be taking your questions live throughout this broadcast, so if you've got any questions for Roarke, be sure to put those in. We're monitoring that. That little bit of audio I know you heard is actually some of us monitoring. So you're going to want to get those in. We're going to ask those at the end of the show, so be sure to stay tuned for all those. I do want to mention, if we ask your live question on air, you're going to be put into a drawing to win a family pack to this year's Klamath County Fair. Big shout out to our friends over at the fair for doing that. It's going to include admission all weekend, tickets to the Cody Johnson concert, tickets to the rodeo, and carnival wristbands. Don't get upset if we don't ask your question. We had a lot of good ones. We couldn't get to them all, but we're going to try to get all the questions that we can. Now that said, please, again, don't get mad if we don't ask your questions. Now that all that housekeeping's out of the way, we're going to take a commercial break, and we're going to be right back with Roarke answering some of those tough questions that you want to know.
Hi, I'm Dr. Parker Ma, and this is Klamath Spine Rehab and Sports Center. We offer various types of treatments to get you moving and feeling better. Services include chiropractic, physical therapy, massage, and other different therapeutic techniques. At Klamath Spine, we typically don't need a referral, and we're an in-network provider for many insurances. You have a choice where to be seen. Make it at Klamath Spine Rehab and Sports Center.
Slow down.
Slow down and move over.
And move over. When you see lights,
vests,
or reflectors,
please give us some room. Slow down and move over.
When you need us,
we've got your back.
Do you have ours?
You got our back?
You got ours? You got our back?
Please, slow down
and move. move over.
The 2018 Klamath County Fair is all about fun, friends, and family. Join us August 2nd to the 5th and ride the carnival ride. See great entertainment and check out the exhibits. Come see country music star Cody Johnson light up the John Hancock Event Center on August 2nd. Put on your boots. The Great Northwest Pro Rodeo is August 3rd and 4th. Doors open at 5:15 with the action starting at 7 p.m. Friday and Saturday. Plan ahead and get your tickets now for the best event of the summer. The 2018 Klamath County Fair, August 2nd to the 5th. Come have a blast. It's your fair.
You can have your car taken to the shop of your choice. So my friend had her car taken to Excel Auto Body because she heard about their reputation for excellent work. They even gave her a written warranty that's good for as long as she owns that car. So Excel Auto Body is a very smart choice.
Hi, I'm Roarke, owner of Excel Auto Body. No matter if the damage is minor or major, you'll want to choose us now. So if you are ever in an accident, you'll be ready. And remember, it's your choice what body shop you go to. Choose Excel Auto Body. It's your car, our reputation.
Hello friends, welcome back. Ryan Gailey, Klamath Falls News. We're here live with Roarke Ponce. You just saw his commercial in there, Excel Auto Body. You see the corner bug up there. We couldn't do this show without him. I want to thank you for being a part of that. And you are the presenting sponsor of Ask Klamath. And we do want to let you know, and we're going to give a quick plug for Roarke, and you might blush a little bit here, but if you get in an accident, remember that it is your choice of where you get to take your vehicle, and you can choose Excel Auto Body because when you need someone to fight for you and your car, you could not have a better advocate than Excel Auto Body. Learn more at excelautobodykf.com. It's your vehicle, our reputation. Again, hats off to this guy. We couldn't do it without him. He is the presenting sponsor. He's also the sponsor of this segment. And again, thank you for that. Now, got all that out of the way. You ready for some questions?
Yeah.
All right. So the premise of this show is to ask your questions, and we're going to start out with Clay Hubrecht. And if I pronounce your name wrong, please excuse me. I'm not the best at that. So Clay wants to know, what led you into the automotive industry?
What's up, Clay? Hope you're watching. So really, it was my father-in-law. I was in the hospital after the birth of first kid, and he looked me in the eye and said, "You need a real job." So he brought me on as just a entry-level tech. 3 months later, I was helping him in the office. A month and a half after that, he owned the shop. Harvest had sold it to him. So that was the start to my career. Before that, I did computers. I worked at Sherm's. I was a draftsman. A little bit of everything.
So. Rite of passage to work at Sherm's, isn't it? It seems like everybody has done that at one time or another. You need a real job. That kind of happened to me too. Studio audience today is my daughter over here. She's off camera. You're not going to be able to see her, but it was because of her that I went and got a real job. Actually, I went to school because of her. So I totally understand all that. I get that, and I'm sure a lot of people out there do as well. Our next question comes from Mark Gabbard. Again, I hope I'm pronouncing names right. He says, you're very passionate about the collision repair business and your community. I like the your community part there. Where do you draw that passion from?
It really comes down to love of neighbor. What we do as a collision repair center can really affect people's lives. Maybe paint doesn't kill someone, but if you do a bad structural repair, it can seriously affect people's lives. And so when that's the case, you want to make sure that everything you touch, everything we do, everything I do as part of the repair process is the best that we can do. And so the passion to make sure that not only in my shop does that, but we need to hold all of ourselves as collision repair experts to that. So, I'm active on some groups trying to spread the word. We really work to educate our customers to make sure they know what we do and why what we do is a little different than the rest of the shops in our area.
Cool. So you talk about some of the things that you do. Excel does a whole bunch of things. What do you guys offer?
Collision repair, anything that's related to getting in a wreck, whether it's a deer hit, you hit another car, somebody hits you, so any body damage. Anything mechanical that's related to collision, we can do. So, replacing wheels, alignments, we can get all that handled through the claim process. We also have a detail service where we can do anything from just a basic cleanup, quick vacuum wash, wax, to full shampoo. We have an extraction shampooer in the shop. And we've also added a service that should go live hopefully next week called the Ceramic Pro 9H Coating. And so what that does is places a thin film on the car that protects it, provides on the highest level protection, provides a hydrophobic coating for the vehicle. And that's something I'm really excited about. So starting in July, you'll see us talking about that a little more.
Very cool. I'm excited to see that too. So you guys do all sorts of things. It's more than just collision repair.
Yep.
So, and a good place to learn more about that is following them on their Facebook page or on their website. You can learn about them there. So continuing on to the next question, Donald Richardson asks, and this is not actually one that I actually have seen this before, I should say. My insurance wants me to use their preferred shop. Do I have to?
Short answer is no, you don't have to. You, by law, have the right to choose your own repair facility, no matter what anybody says. So even if it's not me, make sure that the choice of your shop is one that you've made as a consumer. Make sure the shop you choose is one you trust. But it comes down to, no, you have the right to choose. You don't have to get multiple estimates. You don't have to do a bunch of running around if you don't want to. Just pick the shop that you trust and have them help you with the repairs.
That's good to know. So, and actually, I ran into that once before too when I was having a collision, and they wanted me to get multiple proposals or estimates, I should say, as well as they wanted me to go to 3 specific ones they wanted me to go to. So I'm glad. So continuing on, Jeff Scott is asking. It's kind of a loaded question, Jeff. Here, I'm going to be honest. Is it true insurance companies care more about saving money than fixing my vehicle correctly?
You know, that one, I really can't speak to their motivations because I'm not an insurance company. All I can really speak to is the results of what they do. You know, when an estimate arrives on my desk from an insurance company that has substandard parts, doesn't pay for the full repairs, etc., it sure does seem like that they are placing the cost savings that they want to prescribe to that repair ahead of the safety and the appearance, really. So you know, it's visual as well of their insured. So I would say yes, but again, I'm not their insurance company, so you know, their results sort of speak for themselves on that. Often the savings are more important.
All right. Well, with that answer, we're going to actually take a quick break and pay some bills. We're going to be right back.
Hi, I'm Dr. Parker Ma, and this is Klamath Spine Rehab and Sports Center. We offer various types of treatments to get you moving and feeling better. Services include chiropractic, physical therapy, massage, and other different therapeutic techniques. At Klamath Spine, we typically don't need a referral, and we're an in-network provider for many insurances. You have a choice where to be seen. Make it at Klamath Spine Rehab and Sports Center.
Slow down.
Slow down and move over.
And move over. When you see lights,
Vests.
Or reflectors.
Please, give us some room. Slow down and move over.
when you need us.
We've got your back.
Do you have ours?
You got our back?
You got ours? You got our back?
Please, slow down.
And move over.
The 2018 Klamath County Fair is all about fun, friends, and family. Join us August 2nd to the 5th and ride the carnival ride. See great entertainment and check out the exhibits. Come see country music star Cody Johnson light up the John Hancock Event Center on August 2nd. Put on your boots. The Great Northwest Pro Rodeo is August 3rd and 4th. Doors open at 5:15 with the action starting at 7 p.m. Friday and Saturday. Plan ahead and get your tickets now for the best event of the summer. The 2018 Klamath County Fair, August 2nd to the 5th. Come have a blast. It's your fair.
You can have your car taken to the shop of your choice. So my friend had her car taken to Excel Auto Body because she heard about their reputation for excellent work. They even gave her a written warranty that's good for as long as she owns that car. So Excel Auto Body is a very smart choice.
Hi, I'm Roarke, owner of Excel Auto Body. No matter if the damage is minor or major, you'll want to choose us now. So if you are ever in an accident, you'll be ready. And remember, it's your choice what body shop you go to. Choose Excel Auto Body. It's your car, our reputation.
Welcome back, friends. Brian Gilly, Klamath Falls News. We're coming live to you. This is Ask Klamath. It's our Season 1, Episode 4. It's featuring Roarke Ponce from Excel Auto Body. We're coming live to you from Gathering Grounds Roastery. We're really happy that they're one of our sponsors and help us with this. This segment is actually brought to you by the Klamath County Fairgrounds. The fair is coming up quickly, faster than any of us probably realize. August 2nd through 5th this year. Country superstar Cody Johnson will be taking the stage Thursday night of the fair. It would not be this fair without the food and the rides and the fun and the vendors and all that kind of stuff, and 4-H and FFA and all that. Fair premium guides are available now, as well as tickets for the concert and carnival. Visit the fairgrounds office in person or go to kcfairgrounds.org for more info. We're also going to be broadcasting live throughout the fair as well. More info for that is going to be coming up in the next week or so. Roarke, we got more questions. Are you ready?
Ready.
All right. So David Faust has left us a question, and he's asking, are aftermarket body parts crash tested like OEM panels?
I would say no. The only one I know of that was ever crash tested was a Mustang front bumper, and that was even after it was put into production. So as far as I know, unless there's some secret testing they don't tell anybody about, which is highly unlikely, I would say no, they're not tested like OEM panels are tested.
Now, with that, would salvage parts out of a salvage yard, out of a junk car, be valuable over, say, aftermarket in that case?
A bolted-on part like a fender or a door often can be made usable, even though usually it's not very cost-effective, but it can be done. When you get to structural components, anything that's welded on, the big concern there is the fact that there's so much unknown about the part. We don't know how it's been treated. We don't know what happened to it before it was removed from its donor vehicle. We don't know what happened to it after it was removed. Because of the way energy transfers all around the passenger compartment, there can be damage on the opposite corner. So maybe a truck or car got hit hard in the front and they want us to use a used rear part. That could still be damaged from energy transfer, secondary damage. Once it's cut off of a car, we have no way of telling. We don't know if it's rusted down inside. The only way to really tell would be to destructively take it apart, and then you can't use it. So very rare is salvage parts equal to a new part.
Do you use salvage parts or aftermarket in your shop?
There has been times, I can't say that we have never done that. Generally, if we're using an alternate part, it's on a vehicle that a new part is no longer available. If those vehicles don't total out and a customer wants us to rebuild their car, that may be an option. But we're very, very picky about what we use. In the last 3 years, I have purchased aftermarket parts and compared them side by side with OEM parts, and not a single one has been usable to even make it to where we would test fit it on a vehicle. We have had some used parts, some doors, fenders. That's pretty much about it. Doors and fenders about the only thing. Maybe a taillight here or there used, but overall, I'd say 95 to 99% of the parts we install are new.
That's good to know. And driving a car or something like that, you're going to want to make sure that you're safe, right? You're not talking about when you have or if you have a collision, it's when you have a collision, and you very well could have one in the exact same spot you already had one. Mm-hmm. And if you have a part that's already faulty, well, then you may not have that protection, right?
Right. Yeah, a big part of putting on a part isn't just bolting on something anymore, especially when it comes to structure, because there's a lot of new cars that have a bolt-on front structure. So there's just 2 frame rails that stick out the front, but the headlights, the grille, the bumper, all of that's held by a composite, usually composite plastic piece that bolts onto the car. And so in conjunction with that, if you're just grabbing any old part and throwing it on there, airbag sensors bolt to that. How the energy is transferred on the frontal impact into those front frame rails, all that goes through all those composite plastic pieces. And so if it's used and it's been out in the weather and it's been compromised somehow, composite's really hard to tell, other than if it's obviously broken, but maybe it's been stressed and it's no longer able to hold itself like it used to be. You may not be able to tell that. So using the right parts, putting them together correctly is another big part. We've invested heavily in a lot of equipment to allow us to manipulate the new materials that are in vehicles. There's a lot of composites these days. We're dealing with a lot of high strength steels. Used to be there was one steel, mild steel, they called it 270 megapascal. Now vehicles can have steels that are up to 1,500 or more, and I think one case there's like a 1,700 megapascal steel.
And that's referencing the strength of the steel.
That's referencing the strength. It's a rating that deals with hardness, strength, repairability as well. The higher the megapascal, the less you can repair it, because the panel is actually more affected by heat, and you can't weld something together without creating heat. So as those materials make their way into more and more of the car, we have to then take the time to know how to manipulate them. There's less repair, old panel banging, they called it, we don't do that on cars as much as we used to.
It's more of a replacement than a repair.
More of a replacement. And the reason for that is we want to return that vehicle back to the same safety and same reaction in a collision as it was before. Maybe our process in the repair is a little bit different than how it was made. Often the manufacturer can put a car together in a different way than we can do it in the aftermarket world. But if we follow their procedures, for example, Ford on a cab panel, the side of a truck where the doors attach, they actually specified that there was 30 welds that ran up a certain section. They actually measured it out, and you had to put 30 spot welds with a squeeze resistant spot welder in between there. It gave us the spacing, gave us the size of the spot welds. We had to make sure our tip on the welder is the correct size. It tells us everything we have to do to put that car back together. If we deviate from that, we've now created an unknown. Again, it goes to the used parts, why they're not necessarily always safe. And if we repair a panel, like a quarter panel or a fender, again, we've created an unknown. Some of the manufacturers are stamping their cosmetic steel out of a higher strength than it used to be. And so if you repair that, now maybe pedestrian injuries could be greater. When a car hits a pedestrian, they actually plan how the car is going to crumple to help protect the pedestrian in case of an impact. Or if it's a bad rear end hit and the quarter panel is a full thing of mud, maybe before that car realizes that the impact is 6 or 8 inches into the car because that panel is weak, and before the airbags would have deployed or some safety system would have kicked in, now the impact is further in the car before that safety system kicks in. So that's why the repair has become less and less of a tool that we use in the sense of the old days, and we use very, very little body filler. It's for the far majority is panel replacement.
Sounds good. I would want it back to the way it would be before a collision and an accident. So it's good to know that you are actually doing that. So with that, let's actually kind of give a scenario for you. All right. Let's take my vehicle. I've actually got a 2014 Jeep Patriot, and I think of it's kind of an average Joe's car. Let's kind of imagine I hit a deer on the way home tonight. Unfortunate as it may be, it hits the front passenger corner. The car is drivable, and it steers okay, so I'm able to drive it to your shop tomorrow. And I got 3 kind of parts to this. What would the typical repair process look like? How long would I be without my car? And will it cost me anything beyond my insurance?
Yeah, I'd like these questions. The first part of it about typical repair process, we have 2 paths that a repair can take, depending on if the car is drivable and also what the vehicle owner can do with the scheduling. So when you show up with the drivable vehicle, we'll go out, take a look, see, get the information, get the facts of what happened on the loss, and then we see, can you leave the car? Is it something you can be without, or do you have rental coverage? We're finding more and more times when customers bring in a car that they feel is drivable, it's actually not drivable. Either a headlight's out of place to the degree where you won't have the visibility, or the door is impinged so you can't open it. So some of those little safety things that people maybe take for granted really can affect the drivability. If the vehicle can be left with the shop at that point, it enters our disassembly process. Once it enters disassembly, we take the car apart, and then we can write an estimate that's a complete estimate, and we can really refer to it more as a repair blueprint versus an estimate. Once that estimate's written, we submit it into the insurance. They go through a process of review, usually desk review is what it's called. We send a photo and the estimates off to somebody at a desk across the country. They take a look at it and decide what they're going to pay for. That comes back, then we review that with our vehicle owner. More often than not, they'll cover the majority of the repairs at that point, and we can get things started. So parts would be ordered. After authorization from the owner has been given, parts will be ordered, and the vehicle's actually moved aside until the parts show up. Once parts come in, they're checked. We go through a mirror matching process where we actually inspect each part to make sure that it's the correct part for the vehicle. Once everything is there, then the car enters production. Once it enters production, that's where we can control the time on the repair a little better. We can make sure everything's there. The car can be in body 1 or 2 days on a smaller hit, like a deer hit like that. Then it goes to paint, maybe 1 or 2 days, then back to body for reassembly. It gets detailed after reassembly, as well as the final scans are done as well. Scans are also done as part of the blueprint process as well to make sure that there's no electrical issues before we start the repair. And then it's put back into service. If a customer can't leave a car, we'll still write an estimate based off of what we can see. That estimate will be submitted through. Of course, that estimate will be what's called a short pay. It's not going to cover everything because we can't see it all. That'll get submitted for review again, come back. Again, it'll probably be, they'll probably cover a majority of what we had been able to see. We'll order the initial parts that we know we need, schedule the vehicle in. It shows up, and then it enters that same process. It goes to blueprint, then it goes to a second parts order if needed. Hopefully we knew what we needed the first time, but not always. But again, that car doesn't enter production until all the parts are there and we're completely ready to start the repairs. The reason we want to do that is because we want to treat our repair process as a production line, just like when the car was built. If you ever watch a video like on YouTube of a vehicle being manufactured, Ford's got some really good ones of the F-150. And that truck actually never stops moving. Even when they're putting in on parts and the assemblymen or women are putting in the dash or putting in seats or putting on wheels, that truck's moving down a walk or an assembly line, and it's constantly moving. The doors are separated after paint. They go off to another part of the repair or the assemblies, and then they come back at the exact moment. So that kind of timing is really what our goal is. Maybe with a major repair, we have to pre-paint some parts so that the backsides are covered for corrosion protection. We want to time all of that so that everything hits at the same time, and then once it hits the production, it doesn't stop. So to get into the second part, how long will you be without your car? It's really hard to say. On a smaller repair, the actual production repair time could be 3 or 4 days, 5 days maybe. But the process to get to that could be a week. So if you leave the car because it's either an extra car or you have rental coverage, maybe it's 2 weeks in the shop. It may still be that 2 week time frame, but maybe sometimes somebody takes the car home and then brings it back a week later for us to start. So that's where it's a little bit difficult to give a time frame ahead of time. But once that car enters production, we usually have a pretty good idea. Okay. For the last part, that I really have to say, unfortunately, that could be coming up, where we are going to have customers with out-of-pocket expenses as they go through the repair process. Really what's driving that is the fact that these vehicles are getting more and more complex. I looked at a car today that has a forward-facing camera in the windshield. It has a radar assembly for cruise control. It has millimeter radar in the corners, and this is all in the front bumper, or the front of the car. It has I think it was a LiDAR system for its cruise control, and then millimeter radar in the corners of the bumpers for blind spot detection. And it was a small scratch on this front bumper, but that manufacturer says that bumper has to be replaced with a new bumper from the manufacturer. The reason for that is when they design those systems, like the millimeter wave radar, they calculate how thick the bumper is, how thick an average paint job is, and the placement also of the sensor to the bumper. Mm-hmm. If we repair that bumper cover, we've now layered maybe primer on there, an extra layer of sealer, maybe there's a composite repair material. So as we add layers into that repair, it can alter how that system works. So the next time a customer's going down the highway at 75 miles an hour in their 6,000 pound car. They don't realize that there's somebody right on their corner. They merge over, they get in a wreck. It's happened before. And this comes a little bit into the passion that I have as to why we need to do the correct repairs. The OEM standard of the repair has to be what every shop applies to themselves. Because as you get into doing the repairs correctly, right now, a lot of times I as the shop will eat the difference because the insurance won't pay for it. The other option would be to bill the customers. If you go to the doctor's office, if you get a surgery, like I had my knee fixed a few months back, the surgery was $14,000, I think, something like that. Out of pocket was, fly.
There's a couple of flies around here today.
Out of pocket was, trying to remember now, $3,500 or something like that. And I went into it knowing that the insurance was going to cover a certain percentage, but they weren't going to cover it all. Collision repairs headed that way. We're trying to absorb that for our customers. We've done it for years. The thing that we want to do is assure my customers that the repairs will never be shortcut, regardless of the payment coming. What's the right repair will be done, no matter what. It's getting harder and harder to eat those costs. So, unfortunately, I think out-of-pocket expenses are coming. It's nature of the beast, but right now, when the insurance says I'm the only one, that's true more often than not. So, I don't charge for that just yet, but we'll see how it goes.
Well, it's a possibility that that's coming. That's a lot of information. We're actually going to take a break. We're going to be right back.
Hi, I'm Dr. Parker Ma, and this is Klamath Spine Rehab and Sports Center. We offer various types of treatments to get you moving and feeling better. Services include chiropractic, physical therapy, massage, and other different therapeutic techniques. At Klamath Spine, we typically don't need a referral, and we're an in-network provider for many insurances. You have a choice where to be seen. Make it at Klamath Spine Rehab and Sports Center.
Slow down.
Slow down and move over.
And move over.
When you see lights,
Vests.
Or reflectors.
Please, give us some room. Slow down and move over.
when you need us.
We've got your back.
Do you have ours?
You got our back?
You got ours? You got our back?
Please, slow down.
And move over.
The 2018 Klamath County Fair is all about fun, friends, and family. Join us August 2nd to the 5th and ride the carnival ride. See great entertainment and check out the exhibits. Come see country music star Cody Johnson light up the John Hancock Event Center on August 2nd. Put on your boots. The Great Northwest Pro Rodeo is August 3rd and 4th. Doors open at 5:15 with the action starting at 7 p.m. Friday and Saturday. Plan ahead and get your tickets now for the best event of the summer. The 2018 Klamath County Fair, August 2nd to the 5th. Come have a blast. It's your fair.
You can have your car taken to the shop of your choice. So my friend had her car taken to Excel Auto Body because she heard about their reputation for excellent work. They even gave her a written warranty that's good for as long as she owns that car. So Excel Auto Body is a very smart choice.
Hi, I'm Roarke, owner of Excel Auto Body. No matter if the damage is minor or major, you'll want to choose us now. So if you are ever in an accident, you'll be ready. And remember, it's your choice what body shop you go to. Choose Excel Auto Body. It's your car, our reputation.
All right, friends, Brian Gailey, Klamath Falls News. Welcome back to Ask Klamath. We're sitting here with Roarke Ponce, the owner of Excel Auto Body, as he's talking about answering your questions, actually, as they come through. I do want to talk and remind you that this section is brought to you by Ace Towing. You can see their logo there in the corner. They want to remind you that whenever you see lights and sirens for any emergency vehicles, including tow vehicles, slow down, pull over. You've seen their PSA in the commercials. And if you're in need of assistance while out on the road, call them at 541-884-9388. That's the number you want to put into your phone, because when you need them, You don't want to be searching for that one. Again, put it in your phone right now, 541-884-9388. They can help with jump starts, lockouts, if you're out of gas, tire changes, collision towing, and more. They can tow it right to workshop, as a matter of fact. Ace Towing has you covered. Again, 541-884-9388. I do want to remind you guys to please put your questions in there. We are going to be, in the comments below, we're actually going to be answering those questions at the end of the show. We did actually have one come in during the commercial break that, Roarke, you wanted to address. It's Dan Schneck says, out of pocket's not coming, it's here.
And you're right, Dan, and I'm well aware of it. Oregon state law indicates, and this is something that goes into being a consumer advocate at my shop, the contract for repairs is between the shop and the vehicle owner. There's no interference allowed in that contract from an outside party, just as we can't interfere with the insurance contract for an insured. But knowing that, executing it, and applying it in my little town, that's where the disconnect is right now. You know, I've been working the last couple of years to really try and cultivate an environment in my shop that allow me to educate customers to let them know what's going on. But it's going to take time to really apply that. We're a small town, small rural town in Southern Oregon. So, you know, the customers aren't willing to fight in the court of law. They're not willing to, you know, take the other drivers to small claims court, the things that would be required to do if we were billing out the differences to our customers. And so that's why, like I said, it's something that we'll fight, you know, ultimately maybe more than we really maybe should from a business standpoint, but it's what's right for the people, and that's really where I'm focusing on. So you're right, it is here. It's not coming, it is here, but as long as I can, I'm gonna keep my customers from that burden as best I can. We'll see how it goes.
Now, you bring that up in I'm trying to phrase the right words here for this. You're trying to educate in the process, the repair process, just as you have today, right? The replacement versus fixing and et cetera, and how insurance companies may not actually be covering all that, right? So you've been addressing some of that today. But not all shops are doing that, right? Some shops, you say you work for the customer, the car owner, but some shops think or have the opinion that the insurance company is their client, right? And they're doing what they can do to appease the insurance company. Are you right? Are they right? What's going on?
Legally, I'm right. That's the way it is. There is a, you know, I always use the illustration of a triangle, but it only has two sides. There's the customer, there's the shop, or I'm sorry, there's the shop on one bottom corner, there's the customer at the top, there's the insurance on the other side. The shop and the insurance have no legal relationship. Now, when a shop has a direct repair agreement, though, now there's this like gray dotted line, I guess, between the insurance and the shop. And so most shops look to that insurance as their customer because they write the checks, is what usually comes out. In fact, there was a case just recently where a shop was actually called in to testify against another shop that the vehicle owner isn't the primary customer, that the insurance is, because they pay the bills. That argument was used in a big court case down in Texas where a shop ended up losing and having to pay out a portion of a $42 million lawsuit because of a bad repair years ago. So the court cases have proven that the shop and the customer are tied together. So I don't want to disparage other shops. I don't want to talk badly about other shops, but the consumers need to know that they are tied to the shop through a repair contract. They need to hold the shop accountable to be transparent about the repair process, be transparent about the parts used, be transparent about the repair processes used, whether or not the shop's properly equipped, whether or not the shop's properly trained. You know, you can walk into a lot of shops and you'll see a wall full of plaques. Look at the date at the bottom of the plaque. A lot of those plaques will be from the early 2000s. A lot of shops have let training go because it can cost between $12,000 and $25,000 to train a technician every year if you're keeping up with the modern way of repairing a car. Most shops don't want to spend that because that cuts into their profits. Their profits are already low because they give discounts to the insurance. And so it's a really tough place for the consumer to be in, because legally the consumer owes the bill. The way the shops need to look at it is every time a car comes in for a repair, the insurance isn't paying the shop. The insurance is paying the customer, and the customer is paying the shop. Now, sometimes the insurance issues a check direct to the shop as a courtesy, but legally those funds are not the shop's until the customer authorizes them to accept it. So I'm confident in my position. I've researched it. I've been trained. I've looked into this extensively. I've talked with the state of Oregon, which as much help as a government agency can be. They told me, oh yeah, well, we can't force insurances to do the right thing when it comes to the proper repairs, but they can make sure the customer pays the bill. Every time I've asked a customer as of late, or insurance, Department of Insurance person lately about a situation, it comes down to, well, you need to bill the customer. That's what the state says. So I'm confident in my position. Anytime you allow a third party to interfere with that relationship between the shop and the customer, it's a bad situation. The customer needs to be aware, and they need to be forefront. The vehicle owner needs to be aware, and they need to be forefront. They need to be the primary person the shop is responsible to, because ultimately that's who we're liable to.
Good to know. So we have one more question that come in from one of our fans over the week when we ask these questions on Monday. So we're going to actually get to that. But before we do, I want to remind you again: put your comments in put your questions in the comments below, and we're going to ask some of those live on the show. So we got a few of them there. We're hoping to get into, but we got one more, and this actually comes from Todd Andrus, and Todd wants to know, what could we do as a community to help your business grow?
Run into stuff. No, I'm joking. Don't run into stuff, really. But I guess just try to remember that we're here. My shop's a little bit off the beaten path. We're off of Washburn Way behind the AutoZone on the corner. I did just paint the face of it bright blue, so if anybody follows my Facebook page, they saw me post the bright blueness of my shop. But decide now what you're going to do in case or when you have an accident.
It's not really a matter of if you're going to have one, it's a matter of when you're going to have one, right?
Yeah, that's really true. So take the time now when it's not a rush, when it's not a huge an issue in your life. You have a wreck, maybe you got a sore neck, you're not sure, do I need to go to a doctor? You've got all these other things to worry about too. Where to take the car shouldn't be one that weighs on your mind at that time. So research shops now. Go into the shop, ask them, hey, how do you fix cars? Who do you view the customer as? See how they treat other customers who are in the office. The shop should earn you as a customer as much as you should trust the shop. So in my case, come on down. We'll take you through the shop. We'll show you what we do in the back. We take pictures all through the repair process. Those are available to our customers after the repair if they want them. I actually haven't had anybody ask for them, but they're there. So choose now. That way, when you have that horrible thing happen, your baby gets hurt, and you need to get it fixed, you've already know, okay, I'm going to go here. I know they're going to do right by me, and I know it's going to be fixed right the first time. Throw my phone number in your phone. Ace Towing had a great idea with their little commercial there. It's 541-880-0522. You can text us on that line. We have an online service where we can receive text messages on our office line. So if you have a wreck or a little bit of damage, you got a scratch you want us to look at, throw us a text. We'll see what we can do for you. But, we're a collision shop. Nobody wants to show up there unless something bad happens. But ultimately, if you can decide before something bad happens where you're going to go, then the process will be easier all the way through.
Very good. We're going to put his contact info in the description of this video for if you're watching on a replay. That'll be there as well, so you'll be able to get that number. Checking a look here to see if we have any questions. Trey Peterson, I'm not sure if this is a troll question or not, but it says he's have a question. Is it pronounced Klamath Falls or Klamath Falls? It's Klamath Falls.
Yep, Klamath. And there are no falls.
Well, there was at one time. Well, that's a story for another time. Looking over here, Dan Schneck replied back after his comment, and what you had to answer said, agreed, educate customer is key.
Yeah. Dan's a good guy, and that's part of keeping all of us on the same path. The shops, we have to watch out for each other. I got a good example, or a bad example of that in my shop right now, so.
Chris Graves just popped in there, and let's see, it says, what is a select service, ARX, DRP shops, and what are their goals?
Select service is State Farm's direct repair program. ARX is Geico's direct repair program. DRP shop is direct repair program shop. It says what are their goals. I mean, again, I can't speak for anybody else as to what a business's goals or drives are, but back in the day, we were a select service shop for 16 years, from 14 years at our shop. And our goal in doing that program and having that relationship was to bring in more work. I mean, anytime you partner with somebody, you're looking to benefit, I would think. So anytime the insurance companies have a direct repair program, I would assume the shops are trying to increase their revenue by getting more work.
Okay. Well, I'm not seeing any more questions on there. I do want to give a shout out to Roarke on his Facebook page. He's really trying to get that to take off. And I know Damien is our off-screen producer here, is flashed up on the screen. There it is one more time. You can find him at Excel Auto Body KF there on Facebook. You've got a video up there that you did a couple days ago of a truck that shows, we're not going to play it here. You can go his site and check it out. It's a video showing what one of the other types of shops we're talking about has done in the improper repair. We're not going to call anybody out or anything like that, but you can head over there and check that out. Roarke, anything you'd like to add?
I guess, like I said before, nobody really wants to think about collision repair. So if you take away anything from this, just be more educated about what the shop is liable to you. So again, you want the shop to be transparent. You want the shop to be, honest, but if there is a direct repair relationship, have them tell you about it. Have them tell you about what the requirements are, so that you can know going in. When it comes to my shop, I've really tried to position myself with our different repair certifications, with the different industry associations that I have, and use that to better what we can do for you as the vehicle owner. So take advantage of that. If you get in a wreck, let us show you what we can do. Every shop can make a car look shiny. It's what's underneath that really makes a difference. It's what's underneath that can save your life if something bad happens a second time. And it's what's underneath that is what we will make sure is done 100%.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Roarke. Appreciate you being here. Again, you can learn more about Excel Auto Body at excellautobodykf.com, again, on their Facebook page and so on. Roarke, I hope it went well for you here today.
Yeah,
we're going to be wrapping up this shortly, but before we do, I want to give some shout outs to some of the people that make this possible. This set where we're at here, Gathering Grounds, we couldn't do it without Gathering Grounds. They not only help us out with our Photo of the Week contest, which you can check out this Sunday, they also provide this location for us, and they do a great job. They roast here, and they do all their own coffee here. It's a great little location. So special shout out to Jason and his crew. I've thanked them very much for that. But I also want to thank Roarke. He's our presenting sponsor of Ask Klamath. It's technically Ask Klamath presented by Excel Auto Body. The Klamath County Fairgrounds is a big help. Klamath Spine and Rehab, Ace Towing, and of course Gathering Grounds. You've seen those commercials. Give those places some love. They help out with what we do. They help out with a lot of other things. They'd appreciate it if you stopped in and got a cup of coffee, or maybe you need to get your spine worked on by Dr. Ma. So you actually use Dr. Ma.
Yes, I do. He's my go-to.
He's a good guy.
He's awesome.
Ask Klamath is a production of Klamath Falls News. It's hosted by myself, Brian Gailey. Off camera is our show producer, Damien. Let's see if there he is right there. Audio, he's handling all the auto switching and everything like that. Couldn't do it without him. He's a great guy. If you did not catch this entire live broadcast, it will be available as a replay after Facebook does all its magic. So you're going to want to check that out. It'll also be available through all our social media channels, YouTube and so on, as well as AskKlamath.com. And that's actually the main spot to go if you want to catch up and see what's going on. So we are actually going to be booking spots, our guest spots for season 2. It's going to be coming up here shortly. We still have a couple more episodes here on season 1, but we're going to be booking up season 2 shortly. Check out AskKlamath.com for that, and we'll actually have sponsorships available for that season coming soon as well. So guys, Roarke, unless you've got anything else, if you've been entertained, give this a thumbs up, like it, share it, like our page if you haven't already. Check out all our other social media. We got a lot of things going on, Klamath Falls News. And we are actually going to see you in 2 weeks. And that's going to be after the 4th of July. So I hope everybody has a good, safe 4th. Happy Independence Day, everybody, where we're going to have Heather Tramp from the Chamber of Commerce on the show. I'm Brian Gilly, and this is
Roarke Ponce, signing off.
All right, guys, we'll see you around the basin. Bye-bye.